Yes.
We're gonna talk about that thing.
What thing?
You've been telling them about that thing for weeks now.
Thing.
You know the thing with the stuff.
I'm not sure I just yanking your chain. Ta-da! That's right, people. This coming February 26th, 27th, and 28th, Cram and I will be descending upon Wizard World, Cleveland. The big announcement is out of the way. I am the Dark Knave with his henchman Cram, and this is Week in Geek. Well, Deadpool comes out next week, and you should probably know that because there's been 100 million commercials on TV for it.
Yeah, I mean, their marketing team has really been amping it up, and they're just really killing it. They're really showing what a good marketing campaign that is in touch with the fans can really do.
Well, and not only that, they've got the buy-in of Ryan Reynolds, who's been wanting to play Deadpool since he was like 5 years old, it feels like. The guy steals his own suit, he's making a bunch of videos, he's posting all over the place. It's pretty much non-stop from those guys. Way too much to cover here, but I would do yourself a huge big favor and Google search Skull Poople. You won't regret it.
One other thing to note, it was interesting that after they talked about the fact that they might be making a PG-13 version of this, they came out and announced that there is going to be a director's cut that is actually going to be even worse and may potentially get an X or NC-17 rating.
That's how you respond to PG-13 requests. Meanwhile, over in the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 camp, a couple photos have been released of the cast doing rehearsal, and it's pretty much just telling us, hey guys, we're actually starting this thing.
Yeah, good to see that they're going to be coming back with that again. Again, the Marvel Disney machine keeps on proving that they can take pretty much anything and get people interested in it, and they are really good storytellers.
Really hoping to see new Guardians cast members from the books transition onto the big screen. Haven't heard anything yet, but if I do, I'll let you guys know. Also, Awesome Mix Volume 2 is starting to really circulate, so I'm sure if you haven't heard that yet, you should probably get on that. Meanwhile, and I can't believe I'm bringing this up, over in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers world...
Are you okay?
I know. There's a reason I'm bringing this up.
All right.
They have cast Elizabeth Banks to play the main villain in the upcoming reboot movie, which is pretty crazy. That sort of adds a little depth and strength to an otherwise silly little kids TV show. I don't know that I'll necessarily watch it per se. It's not really my thing, but at the same time, impressive casting. Good on you guys.
It was really popular. Why not take advantage of the franchise?
Sure. We may as well talk about Star Wars because everyone else is. It's creeping up on $2 billion, folks, which means it's about to pass Avatar as the biggest grossing film of all time internationally. Pretty impressive stuff. Meanwhile, Rogue One is getting some press. They've had a couple of big announcements.
Biggest thing that's come out recently is the fact that Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi are going to be at least a part of the story in some way, shape, or form. It seems like what they've alluded to so far is that Darth will have a pretty significant role.
Well, it figures out on the timeline, right? Darth would be pretty active back, in that time period of when they want to play on the movie. The weirder thing is that Ewan McGregor is probably going to be making a cameo as Obi-Wan.
Yeah, so I'll be interested to see how they actually work that timeline between the difference of, the end of Episode 3 and the beginning of Episode 4, where this really falls in that timeline using Ewan McGregor.
At least they're using Ewan McGregor, because if they used Alec Guinness, that would just be really scary stuff. Awkward. Moving on over to the teenier screen of television, they have cast Legion, which is a pretty bizarre pick for making a series out of. Legion, for those of you who don't know, is a Z-list character from the X-Men universe. You know who Legion is, right? Exactly. So, he's Professor X's son, and he has split personality disorder, and each one of his personalities has its own mutant ability. Pretty cool.
Sounds cool.
Where things are going to get weird is that Fox owns all of the rights to the X-Men characters and the word mutant, so I'm not really sure how this is all going to play out, but we're going to find out. Pretty strong casting. They've got Dan Stevens from Downton Abbey playing the role of Legion, and they also have Aubrey Plaza coming in for another role. Meanwhile, involving characters we actually do know very well, Supergirl and the Flash crossover is actually greenlit and is a go. Very exciting news.
God, that they're doing this, because, if they would have, gone back on that...
Yeah, well, I think a lot of it had to do with that Vanity Fair shoot featuring both Supergirl and the Flash. Whatever the reason, just glad to see that it's happening. Very interesting how DC and Marvel are taking tacks on their cinematic versus their television universes, though.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, DC has decided to say that their television universe is separate than their film universe, and so that they don't really expect those to cross over, casting different people and everything like that. And we understand that. We get that. You know, it's essentially recognizing the fact that those are different multiverses. It's a very different tack than what Marvel's done, where they've essentially said it is one giant universe, where the cinematic universe bleeds over into the television and has influence there.
Sure, you've had Samuel Jackson on the show, Sif has been on the show, Coulson's been in the films. It's all one big happy family. Nothing bad either way, it's just a taste thing, but I can tell you as somebody who's in tune with the multiverse, I have seen all those incarnations and all of them please me. So good on you guys, DC. Keep doing what you're doing. One more bit of information regarding Supergirl. Tom Welling, those of you who know that is Superboy from the Smallville program, has gone on the record saying he would love to play Superman in a cameo on the Supergirl show. Makes perfect sense to me since both Kara's parents are former members of the Superverse in the first place, so it only fits that Welling could come in and play Superman. I think it would be cool. The Teen Titans live-action TV show may have been killed, but Warner Brothers came out this week and said that they are very adamant about getting it on TV. Probably get picked up by the CW, might as well, everything else is on there, and I think that would be great.
Awesome. Yeah, end up with something basically every day of the week.
Sure. And then you could have them all cross over, and it could get very cool, so bring it on. In the meantime, in the animated space, Justice League Action has been announced. That's the new Justice League cartoon series, and for those of you who used to be fans of Justice League Unlimited, which is amazing, and if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend seeing the entire series. This should be pretty cool. Even more cool is the fact that they've got Kevin Conroy on to play Batman and Mark Hamill on to play the Joker, so it looks like they're getting the band back together.
It's nice that they have that consistency. I mean, people like hearing that consistent voice that they know. And as you've pointed out to me in the past, when they've moved away from that, it just feels weird. It just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, and it's hard to beat Hamill's Joker. It's just great, man. So, very good news. Lastly, the JLA vs. Teen Titans animated film is coming out. If there's anything DC is very good at, and they've been very good at it for a very long time, it's animated films. So we're looking forward to that one as well. I just want to touch on one announcement in the comic book space. DC's Rebirth announcements are just starting to trickle out, and one of them is super exciting to me personally, and that is that we are getting a look at the original Justice Society of America getting their book, which is great. Not to say Earth 2 is a bad book, but it's just very different from what we're used to. We're going to get the original Hawkman, Hawkgirl, Power Girl, Our Man, Wildcat, Alan Scott Green Lantern. It's going to be good stuff. Really excited about that. It seems like people have been missing it for a long time, so I'm glad to see it happening. That's our week in review, everyone. Thanks for watching. Please make sure to check out the other videos we'll be releasing throughout the week. We're going to have a Book of the Week review. Cram and I are going to talk TV episodes, and I'm going to have a rage mode about flagship characters and comic book companies messing with them too much. I'm okay. And don't forget, Wizard World, folks. February 26th, 27th, 28th, Cleveland, Ohio, Cleveland Convention Center. Going to be exciting. Cram and I will be there, and we're bringing a gaggle of henchmen to help us out. I just really wanted to say gaggle.
Yeah, I just really want to say doobly-doo.
Well, then doobly-doo that.
All right. Well, make sure that you share and subscribe. And if you want to follow up on anything that we talked about in the video this week, make sure you check out the links down in the doobly-doo.
Feel better now?
I do.
Great. Supervillain freeze frame.